Hello friends, welcome to ProTalent and I'm Nitin Parmar. In this particular video, which is entirely in English, because there are so many our test series students who are from South India, just for them, this is a video which is coming, which is entirely in English. There is another video which is in Hindi and English mix. So depending upon your choice, you can watch it. Okay, now let me talk about what I'm going to discuss here. I'm going to discuss about how to score high in mock CLATs. Let me make one very important thing very clear to you, that students, it cannot happen that if you go and appear for your CLAT exam and you have not appeared for any of your mock test, or you have appeared for very limited mock test. My dear students, it is very important for all of us to appear just like any sports person who is let's say competing for the finals will do lot of net practice, and that net practice is needed for you. My suggestion is some around, you can say minimum some around 30 plus test is what you have to write before your actual CLAT. That's what my suggestion is. Now, with this in mind, I'm assuming that you will follow the instructions being provided to you. Now, let me talk about that. You may have a good conceptual clarity, you may be strong at the concepts, but many times you have to understand the nature of the exam and you'll have to actually find out how you will move in that 120 minutes. Your exam, which is of 150 questions in 120 minutes, will require few things. Let me talk about that sequence part. This is very important. Conceptually, you may be very good, but if you don't follow a proper sequence, you don't master that sequence, you don't develop an art of moving how to complete all 150 questions in 120 minutes, it turns out to be very difficult on 10th of May to perform. And that's the reason why this video, it will help you to develop a sequence. I'm telling you one of the sequence here. You can have your own sequence, but there is a logic, there is a reason for this sequence. I'm telling you what is the logic and what is the sequence. Let me start with this. First and foremost, anyone can start with a GK. This is very important. GK or general awareness, आपको जो नाम देना है, whatever the name you would like to give, you can give it to that. GK or GA is what you start with. That's the first part. Why? Because that will give you how much more I need to cover up from the other sections. Because here, if I know something, then I know it. If I don't know, then I can find out of, let's say, some around 35-40 questions, how many questions I don't know. So if I have to go to certain scores, for example, let's say if I talk about 150 questions, what is a decent score to get into, let's say, top 3 NLUs? I think that number should be in the range of 105 to 110, which I think it is now reasonably acceptable. Okay, after so many tests, so many students who are appearing for many such kind of tests, this looks pretty okay as of now. Okay, so considering this 110 plus score needed for the top 3 NLUs, it is very important for me to judge how much will I score in this my GK. That's why it is to be fast. Number 2, then I will go for legal part. Okay, why legal? Because I will have similar kind of thought process which was going on in my GK. Whatever the current affair part which I was reading, it is mostly connected to this my legal reasoning part. Okay, so that is the second thing I will be doing. Rest assured, I am going to discuss about the timeline as well. Okay, then third thing which I will be taking would be possibly LR. Fourth thing I will be picking up would be RC, and the last thing would be quantitative technique. This is what I'm going to get into. Okay, this is my sequence. Now you may ask, okay, sir, how much time should I devote to this? Okay, now this is an ideal time I'm suggesting to you, okay, which you have to reach to. You may not be able to reach at this point in time. Don't worry about it. In your initial 5-7 test, you may not be able to reach to that. That's pretty okay, but you will have to for sure reach there. Okay, so I think now I'm not going by an individual section. I'm telling you for this 2 section, you are taking, let's say, 50 minutes. In 50 minutes, you are solving 75 plus questions. Okay, this is what you should always look at. Okay, that's the first 50 minutes is what you devote for this. Why? Because you are fresh, you will be in a position to do, you can say, good quantity, you can go with a good speed, you can remember a lot of things, you can apply your mind. Okay, so that's really possible. Now the next 50 minutes to be devoted for your LR and RC. Okay, some part would be calculative, wherein you can say LR will require some calculation, RC will be little lengthy. I have seen students who are taking RC earlier are not able to manage their entire paper because RC is taking a lot of time. Okay, so this is what you should be knowing. And then quantitative front would be last some around 15 to 20 minutes. This is what you can devote to yourself. Now if I go by section wise, okay, so I think this legal should take some around 30 minutes, okay, or 35 minutes, and GK should take some around 20 minutes. This is really a kind of division you can give. While LR and RC, I strongly suggest your LR should get over in 25 minutes and your RC should get over in 25 minutes. Okay. Now here you will have to understand one important part. Okay, while you are, you can say, attempting in this sequence manner in your mock test, okay, this is precisely about your mock test. Okay, so when you are, you can say, solving this question in mock test, one thing you have to keep in mind that there is something called soft time target, okay, and there is hard target. What is the meaning of soft target? You know that you are solving one particular question and in a minute you are not able to get some idea and you want to stick to that question. There is an urge because you know that you may get an answer. Agreed. Okay. After a minute you may ask question to yourself, should I continue or not? Okay. So that's pretty okay. So this is 1 minute, but 2 minutes is a hard target. If you are not able to get anything in 2 minutes for a particular question, you can possibly leave it. Okay, so you should know the aspect of soft and hard target. That's number one. Okay, so I'm sure all of you are able to understand this, you can say, sequence part of it. My dear students, develop your sequence. Ensure that in 120 minutes you are able to read all 150 questions. So develop your capability in that way. Okay, if you are not developing that capability, if you are not planning it well, possibly you are not solving all 150 questions. Okay, so it is really important to get into top college to solve all 150 questions. So that's first thing which I hope you have understood. Next part, when to fill the OMR. That's a big question. You have an, you can say, paper pencil exam, so you'll have to go and fill the form. Okay, that is the oval. Okay, how do you fill the oval? Will you fill the oval at the end? No, that's really not acceptable. If you fill the oval at the end, that's really a bad idea. Okay, so what I suggest is you may possibly take a break of, let's say, after every section or after every 2 sections. This is really possible, or it is better that you fill the oval along with your paper. Okay, so when you are solving a question, aap gole bharte jaye, you start filling the oval. That's very important. I hope it is very clear to you. Great. Okay, so when to fill the OMR? Don't keep OMR filling at the end. If you keep OMR at the end, it is going to create a lot of trouble. It is huge pressure. In that pressure, you are going to get into big problem. This is really a very important part. You can't miss out on this. Another important part, sir, when I'm filling the questions, when I'm solving the question, do I need to get all of them right? In fact, yes, that's a big pressure every one of us has. You and I, when I appear for the exam, I want that, you can say, my question is to be right. Okay, and that everyone has. But sometimes we commit mistakes and that's acceptable. So in this exam, 120 minutes, 150 questions, my, you can say, suggestion to you is ensure that you attempt more number of questions. Okay, even if you have if you are in doubt, okay, if you have doubt between 2 options, mark one and try to attempt as many questions as possible. Do not expect that you are going to come back to this question later on and you will possibly find out what is the answer. You are not going to get that much time. So ensure that while you are reading it, you are going to mark it. Okay, it is very important. You don't get any you can say idea about it. You may possibly leave it, which is possible in your GK. Okay, but it is not possible in your legal. You will have to mark it. Please mark it. This is very important. Okay, so even if you get some questions wrong, that's acceptable. Okay, accept that aspect. Okay, how many wrongs are acceptable? I think, let's say if I attempt 150 questions and if I get 15 wrong, okay, that's great, that's acceptable. Okay, so somewhere around 10% wrong should be good out of my attempt. Okay, this is what the number I need to target. Okay, which is 10%. How many wrongs are acceptable? 10% of my attempt. Okay, another important part, you should not have an attachment to any section. You may feel that how come this constitution question, I am not getting it, I'm a King Kong, I am the superstar of this particular section. Great, you are. Okay, in general in your life you are good at that. In your classroom, you might have given good answer to your teachers. In the live sessions, you have given a lot of examples, but in that time frame, you're not able to get that answer. Okay, leave it. You should not have any attachment to any section or any question. In case you attempt, let's say GK, and you are master at GK and somehow that section is not good with you, don't worry about it. Okay, focus on performance. And focus on clicking rate. Okay, running rate, ensure your running rate is very high. Okay, forget about the kind of ball which is coming, where I can make a 6 out of it, I couldn't make a 6 out of it, that's okay. Okay, but you are able to get easy answer to even tougher question later on, so don't worry about it. Don't stick to any specific part. Okay, so my dear students, it is very important. I'll repeat what I have just said. I'll repeat point number 1, that is, you can say you can't go without appearing for 30 tests. That's really not acceptable. Number 1, after your conceptual clarities are done, you should develop a good capability of identifying right sequence. This is my suggestion for the sequence. I have kept RC at a very later stage, and I'm sure out of RC it is very difficult to solve all RC passages. Okay, so if you spend a lot of time doing your RC, you are going to, you can say, lose a lot of time on your LR or Quant. Okay, so this is really very critical aspect. Okay, you may possibly leave entirely Quant in the sense you have a pressure but you want to do more of RC, that's acceptable. But still, my suggestion is try to reach to this particular part and try to attempt all 150 questions. Keep that in mind. I know it is really a tough task today, but slowly and slowly you will be reaching to this particular level. I want you to reach to that level. At the same time, be acceptable, be comfortable with your wrong answers. You may commit mistakes, that's acceptable, and you should not have any attachment to any section or any question. This is what my suggestion. This is how you can score high. Okay, in case you have a question on this, in case you have a lot of problems in this, I am ready to help you out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separate video wherein I'll be announcing a specific time slot where you can call me. I will help you personally. Okay, I would like to discuss with each and every test series student that look, this is a problem you are facing. I will help you what you should do. Okay, so I hope this video helps you. If it is, say yes. Great, put a, you can say, like button. Do not miss out to subscribe our channel. Do not miss out to subscribe our protalentdigital.com, and you can say put, you can say, bell icon button. Thank you very much and all the best for your preparation.